send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this hollering, we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from him. He's a man. He can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
No, this game is not over. It's just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our, Team Texas Tuesday already. Already had two football games yesterday, and one of them was hard to imagine. I've been talking to people all the way to the station today about how the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to Washington. I'm just trying to get that in my understanding. Hey, Amber Neal, can you tell me how Pittsburgh lost to Washington? Amy, Claire, Boucher, Castro, Johnson, Smith, Brown, Jones III. How did Pittsburgh lose to Washington? Don't try to tell me Washington's real good. I want to hear it. In fact, I got somebody coming on later who will talk about Washington. She's there in the DMV, and we'll see. We will see. But anyway, I'm just that one scratched my head. That one had me scratching my head. I go back to what they say. That's why they play the games. Nicholas Hines, how did Pittsburgh lose to Washington? Keith Hennig, how did Pittsburgh lose to Washington? It's what I got to know. It's what I've got to know. And of course, all the overreactions are happening. Oh, well, Pittsburgh isn't that good. They barely won a lot of games this year. They're 11-1. Can we not schedule the funeral already? Can we not schedule the homegoing service for Pittsburgh just yet? The NFL shafted Pittsburgh, brutal schedule. The Steelers were worn out. And what I love about I can't call him the best head coach because there's still this guy named Bill Belichick. But what I got to say about Mike Tomlin, he refused to let that be an excuse. He refuses to let that be an excuse. Let me give you Pittsburgh's schedule. Hang on. Let me pop this off real quick. All right, hang on. Here it is. Pittsburgh. Where they at? All right, here they are. Pittsburgh schedule. Pittsburgh played Jacksonville on Sunday the 22nd. Then they played Baltimore on December the 12th. That's a Wednesday. And then they played Washington 5 days later. And watch this. And 6 days after that, they got to go to Buffalo and play the Bills. Hey, Gina Fleming, Black and Gold sister, I got this. It's going to be all right. They're 11-1. They are not already done. They're not. So, for everybody ready to bury Pittsburgh and, they barely won most of their games this year. They had to come from behind. They barely beat this team. I got one question for you. What's your team's record? What is your team's record? If you're not a Kansas City Chief fan, they're 11-1. You're not. Kansas City's 11-1. You're not. Now us New Orleans Saints fans, we close, but we can't even. 9-2 is not 11-1. It's just that simple. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. You can say everything you want to say about Pittsburgh. Do you know one thing you can't do? Stop people from talking about you. You cannot stop people from talking bad about you. And if I'm Mike Tomlin, and I know he ain't worried about it, I'm not listening to none of it. I'm back as Big Mike Tomlin would say, I'm back in the lab. We're trying to break this thing down. We're trying to get better. And we're going to come out next week and inflict that pain. I'm just saying, congratulations, Washington. That's why they play the games and keep score. Every now and then, a team who's not supposed to win is going to beat a team that they're not supposed to be able to beat. And you can get all deep and technical and all of that, but it doesn't mean you're right. Doesn't mean you're right. I got people on the show that's going to join me today and help break this down, but Pittsburgh's going to be just fine. One loss. If your team has more than one loss, got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. This segment brought to you by Butterball. Listen, since you can't help the Steelers, you can't talk them down to your level, let me help you with your turkey for Christmas. All right, Butterball, tell them what's up.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for, and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
The lunch break, where sports are the special of the day on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Team Texas Tuesday, and got some very special guests going to be joining me today to talk about a variety of things. Keith Hennig said, my team has 5 losses with more on the way. I'm not trying to call no names, but Cowboy fans, Texan fans, Tampa Bay fans, Indianapolis Colt fans, Tennessee Titan fans, and I even hate to do this to myself, but New Orleans Saints fans, we got to be quiet. Our team is not 11-1. Don't start trying to jump on the dirt on top of the grave of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't be Skip Bayless trying to bury the Kansas City Chiefs. Just stop it. You're not. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, all the way from Chalk Talk Sports, it is legendary broadcast journalist, sports aficionado herself, Miss Kim. Kim, how are you?
I'm good, AJ. It's been way too long, and as always, thank you for having me be a part of the show.
Well, you know what? It has been way too long, but I'm glad I got you down, man. I'm glad I got you down. First of all, you're looking phenomenal. Just looking.
Thank you.
Great.
You know, we do the best we can during this whole COVID season, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's all we can do at this point. But Kim, you know, of course, the shockingness happened before we get into the stuff that is the Houston Rockets. Any surprises with Pittsburgh and Washington for you yesterday?
No.
None?
Listen, I think that Pittsburgh is better than people are giving them credit for. Right. I know some people saying that they're not as playing. You know, people kill me with the, well, you know, they're not as good as their record. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know what that means. Like, you know, like one of the questions that Stephen Silas answered yesterday. He's like, I don't even know how to answer that. I don't, you know, so I don't know what that means. I think that I think the coach has done a great job, you know, and I'd like to see them do really well. And, you know, so I expect that they're going to be there in the end. You know, I think you're going to have some hiccups along the way, right? That's going to happen.
Right.
But I think they're real.
Okay. All right. That's what I want to hear from a real person who knows. I mean, I'm telling you now, Kim, I've been cutting up since last we talked, last we got together. You see me, I'm fighting the power and all that good stuff.
I see you over there. I'm like, what is going on? I love it.
If this black man wins this championship this year, I'm gonna cut all the way up. I'm gonna be out in the streets, Kim. I'm gonna have a Super Bowl parade in Houston for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers if they win it all.
So here's the thing, and I think you and I have had this conversation over the years. A team that is winning and hasn't lost a game in the regular season, you almost want to see them kind of take one loss, right? So that they don't get to the end and then there's all this pressure for this perfection. You know, and when they do lose a game, it tends to be to a team that, like a Washington, like a team you weren't expecting to lose to. So that's when I say I'm not real surprised. You know, they're going to take one on the chin, and it's going to be from a team that just isn't playing that great. That happens. I think it happens all the time. If you think about teams that have had that one or two losses over the years. So not terribly surprised, but I still believe that they will, I think they'll be there in the end. And I'd love to see him be there in the end. You know, I would love to see him be there in the end. I think over the years, you know, you can't help but have more and more respect for what Coach Tomlin has done. When you look at the fallout from an Antonio Brown, you're like, man, he must have been like a crazy player whisperer. You know what I mean? Like, because he had some people that were, and some personalities and things that he managed until he couldn't. Right. And then we were like, wow, this is going on? Right. So I'm pulling for him. You know, I'm pulling for him.
We got Kim Davis joining us from Chalk Talk Sports. She's been a longtime sports broadcast journalist here in the Houston area, has done TV work, radio, has been all around the country doing sports. And I'm glad to have her drop by the lunch break today for our Team Texas Tuesday. I asked this of one of our other colleagues, David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint. And I asked him, at what point do we start looking at Mike Tomlin differently than we do now. Like right now, I think a lot of people, not named Terry Bradshaw, think he's a good coach. But he recently passed Tony Dungy as the winningest black coach in the NFL. At what point do we start moving Tomlin up, the ladder?
I think we should. I think he should already be at the ladder. And if he's not, then we need to put him on there and start elevating him because he deserves it, right? This team. I mean, you look at what he did. Look at what he's done with the team when they didn't have a Roethlisberger, right? Look at how he has performed when most people lose their star quarterback and they become like, a cellar team, a cellar dweller. I think that he deserves to be there. And I think because he's real, I mean, he doesn't have a problem with the media, but he's not a media seeker.
Right.
He just goes about doing his work. He wants to win, take care of his players. And he puts his head down and tries to get it done. And so I just think he deserves to be in the conversation of great coaches right now.
Right now, right. I agree.
Right now, yeah.
I mean, a coach who's never had a losing record, a coach that almost made the playoffs with a racist and a duck at quarterback, talking about I've changed a little bit, Kim, since we last.
Did you say a racist and a duck?
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. That's good stuff. Okay.
It's what it is. Hey, let's take a quick break. When we come back, let's go ahead and switch gears. Let's go ahead and talk about what is the Houston Rockets. And we'll be right back with Kim Y. Davis, Chalk Talk Sports, right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. If you want to get in, you can 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000. Let's hear a quick word from the mayor of Houston, Mayor Turner.
I'm Mayor Sylvester Turner. We need to be mindful of everyone's health and safety when planning family gatherings. Make a plan and share it with your guests. Get tested at one of the many free testing sites within the city. Wear your mask, wash your hands frequently, and social distance, so you can enjoy your time together with peace of mind. Protecting our loved ones is the most important thing for all of us. Mask up, Houston. We're better together.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Radio stations in one.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me show right here on the legendary KYOK Radio 1140 AM and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
Let's get it. Lunch break crew. What's up with it?
All right, y'all, this is the lunch break. We are the lunch break crew right here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Wait, hang on.
Uh-oh. Did I lose you? Are you still there? Please tell me you're still there. I was just going to say, y'all, I'm so blessed to have one of my dear friends and really somebody I've looked up to in this business, and that's Kim Y. Davis from Chalk Talk Sports. She's joining me now. Kim, can you hear us?
Wait a second.
We might have lost her audio. We'll have to come back if we did.
I don't know what happened, but I'm not getting audio. Let me see.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can help on my end.
Okay, I see the. Let me try this.
All right, can you hear us now? Kim?
Okay.
All right, you back? Kim?
Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you anymore. I don't know what happened.
I can hear you. Let me see if we can.
I don't know why I can't hear you.
She can't hear me, so I'm
My
gonna.
earpods on.
All right, so we're gonna send her out and see if she can come back in. I'll send her a message for her to log back in. Kim Y. Davis again joining us. Try to log back in. Okay, all right, so we'll get her back on. Great knowledgeable sports broadcaster. Again, she's one of the best. Y'all be sure and check her out on Chalk Talk Sports. She does a phenomenal job. You can follow her at Kim Y. Davis on Facebook. Okay, here we go. Let me see if we can get her back in. Kim, can you?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yes.
All right.
I don't know what happened, but okay, I'm back.
Hey, modern technology, you know how it goes.
Yes.
All right, so Kim, you covered the Houston Rockets better than most. And have you ever seen anything kind of like what we've seen since the bubble? It seems like after the Daniel House, whatever that was in the bubble, all Hades has broken loose. What can you tell me about what you know since then?
So it is, I guess it is in line with 2020 because it has been that kind of year, right? But if you go back to right after the bubble, the Daniel House thing was crazy. And let me say this, I don't think this Rockets team would have beat the Lakers. They're just really good. But Daniel House was an unfortunate loss for them because he gave them some size and some athleticism, and it was a loss. They weren't going to beat the Lakers. With that said, when they on that ride home from Florida on the flight, Mike D'Antoni told them that he was going to be, he was not going to stay with the Rockets. He wasn't going to try to pursue anything with the Rockets. That he had decided he had hit the end of the road. And then he told them, the organization, when he got back. So that was the first thing. I was not surprised because of the way they treated him, right? In that kind of lame duck year. I think that he was not pleased with that. And he was like, I don't have to do this. So that happened. That wasn't a huge surprise. I think the big surprise was Daryl Morey leaving.
Right, absolutely.
And I think that signified a lot because he left a lot of money on the table, right? A lot of money. I mean, I'm sure he made it up when he got to Philadelphia. But, the whole, I'm just going to retire. Mm-hmm. I did never really think that was it. Okay. So he leaves and you're like, okay, well, that's something. What does this mean? I don't know if he and Tillman Fertitta had kind of a handshake deal and said, we'll just agree to part ways and you go do what you want. I won't fight that. And I don't have to pay this big salary because I think at the end of the day, much of this has to do with money and Tillman Fertitta not wanting to be in the luxury tax ball game anymore. Yeah. That is what sources around the league have said since he bought the team. We know that he was hard hit in COVID because of the kind of business he runs and the way he runs his business. Right? All billionaires are not created equal. And so he has made it clear to those that need to know he don't want to be in a luxury tax. They're not saying that publicly, but that's well known. So I don't know if he thought, well, if I'm not paying Daryl the kind of money I'm paying him, I can elevate Rafael. I don't have to pay him that much. I mean, let's just be honest. And I'm going to go get a young coach, a first-time coach. Doesn't mean he's not a good coach, but he's not going to require the kind of financial investment I have to make in others. So, okay, those things happen. And then we start hearing Russ doesn't want to be here. James doesn't want to be here. We hear different reasons. We never really hear from them. We still, are hearing from sources and people around the league, but you haven't heard James say anything. He's been running around acting quite childlessly, I might add, posting memes on Instagram and going to parties and posting on Instagram that he's partying in clubs and not wearing a mask. I call that irresponsible and unprofessional, right? Yep. So if you want to leave, which apparently now that's clear, he doesn't want to be here, help us help you. Help us give you what you want. You want out? We got to get something that's worth it for us. And so I think that's where we are, but I have never really seen anything like it. And yesterday, AJ, we're talking to Coach Silas, and he's like, I don't have a timeline. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
I'm working with the players who are here, and I can respect that. He said, I'm going to be honest. Is it a setback? Absolutely. When one of the best players in the league is not in camp, and it's a shortened camp. I mean, listen, they opened preseason, AJ, on Friday.
Right. Absolutely. Up in Chicago.
In Chicago.
And then and all of that, and
and then on the 23rd is their first regular season game. We're 2 weeks away from the start of the season. What are you doing? I don't know, but I've had my thoughts about James Harden, and my saying that My new saying is, one of them is, how you do anything is how you do everything. And that's what we're seeing from him.
I like that.
How you do anything is how you do everything.
So
and it ain't good.
Have you seen the report from his mom that said,
yeah,
just try to do the best he can, and at the end of the day,
first of all, why are you on Twitter? Why are you on Instagram talking to what in the world? And then if you're going to write a long Instagram post, Miss Willis, come on, spell check it, babe. Make it clean. Clean it up.
But that's mama now. Leave mama alone.
Why are you on Instagram talking to this guy? What in the world? Unless you're going to say, why that guy? You know what I mean? So we got to try to look on Instagram and see what's going on with the franchise player. Give me a break. And I'm proud of how he does business. Well, you ought not be proud of this. I'm sorry. This is not good behavior.
I do believe she raised him better than this. I do believe that. Kim Y. Davis joining us, Chalk Talk Sports, here on the lunch break. Kim, not on the same level. We have seen the Rockets pay people to stay away. They did it with Carmelo Anthony. They did it with Kenneth Faried. They've done it with other players where they literally paid them to stay away. You're still under contract. We're still paying you. We'll try to find a trade partner for you. But until then, we don't want that attitude affecting the other players here. Do you see something like that happening with James Harden?
Absolutely not. I would not give him 1 red cent because the number is so much bigger. And we're talking $41.299 something million. And so at this point, let's do a quick little history lesson about James and the Rockets. They have paid him the max money. They paid him the super max money. They've gone out and gotten him the players he said he wanted. They've done everything that he asked them to do. They let him play the way he wanted to play, even when it was wild and out of control. The system that worked for him. And at this point, you've decided, well, I'm done here. Which you could decide, even though you still have 2 years on your deal and a player option in the third. The very least you could do was handle it a little more decently and in order.
Right.
So here's the difference about the NFL, and you know this, in the NBA. In the NFL, if you sit a season out, there's a certain point where you can come in and that season counts. In the NBA, the season doesn't count. So if you say, well, you know what, I just won't play this season. I'll leave that almost $42 million on the table and I'll stay home. At the beginning of next season, he still has 2 years left on his contract.
Right.
So what are you gonna do? Right. And come in and be mad. But if he would, the smart thing is come in, you play hard and let us get something for you. Why do you want to handicap and cripple the organization that gave and did everything for you, really stuff that probably wasn't always in the best interest of the organization, quite frankly. So, no, don't pay him 1 cent.
Kim Y. Davis bringing up some real good points about the situation going on with James Harden. He's not yet shown up to camp. Preseason game number 1 is this coming Friday. And then they turn around and play Chicago again. And like Kim said, the regular season starts December 23rd for the Rockets. So he comes in and he plays. Obviously, they want to get a player of his caliber or a young up-and-coming player who has the chance to be his caliber. Do you see them doing a hybrid thereof where they get some young players and maybe an expiring contract or two so they can get money off the books sooner than later? How do you see that part playing out?
So I think it's going to be a combination. I think they definitely have to get a player that can play right now, right? They have to get one of those kind of players. And they're going to have to get some picks.
Yeah.
And I think, Tillman Fertitta probably wants some expiring contracts to get money off the books. Mm-hmm. I believe that the move to get rid of Capella was really about getting under the luxury tax. Right. I mean, he's done. I think the moves have been really more about money, and so I think it's going to be a combination, and we'll see what Raphael can come up with. And so the news today, the reports today, that James has said, because this is who he is, right, that he would accept the trade to he'd like to go to Philadelphia or Brooklyn. Well, I don't think either of those places are likely. You know, you heard Kevin Durant recently basically like, nah, bro, we good. You know, and if you are Brooklyn, why would you want, you haven't even had a chance to see Kyrie and KD together yet with the rest of the guys. Like, you got to the bubble without them. Why would you throw in somebody else in the mix? There's that. And what do you have to give? You know, I know he wants to be there because they're really good and Mike D'Antoni's there. And then Philadelphia, where Daryl Morey is. Well, Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers are, you know, they're new and figuring out. And Daryl Morey has said he wants to keep his two superstars together.
Right.
Well, you can't make a deal for Harden without getting rid of one of those guys.
Right.
So now what you going to do?
Yep.
I don't know.
And that being said, Joel Embiid ain't going anywhere. So why would they bring in Ben Simmons when, you know, he's a you know, does the exact same thing that John Wall is expected to do?
Right, to make James happy?
Yeah,
Man, come on. Yeah.
I've heard names like Spencer Dinwiddie, Caris LeVert, and that from Brooklyn and picks. This is going to sound crazy. Do the Rockets know what to do with draft picks? I mean, they haven't had or used any in such a long time. Do they know what to do with?
I don't know. I don't know much about Raphael. You know, I don't know his. You know, he was kind of the contract guy. You know, and so I don't know, and I don't know how much of it is it his decision or is it Tillman and his sons. I mean, we don't really know what's happening over there. I've heard a number of things about the organization and who's making the decisions, and so I don't know. It's a good question if they even know what to do with the picks.
Ken Y. Davis joining us here on the show. Another name that kind of hangs out there is Golden State.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Tell me
it is interesting. So I was talking about that, and I said, so when you think about Golden State, you know, they're without Clay, and who knows how he will come back. They've got something that they've got picks, right? They've got some capital, if you will, some resources, and you know, Steph can pretty much play with anyone. You know, I see him being just that kind of guy, and he's super talented. I mean, they of course have absolutely no defense with the two of them, but I guess that could be I think the plan was probably for the Rockets, James come in, see what it looks like early. You know, hopefully he buys into the Silas system and they have some success with these guys. If Boogie's healthy, if John Wall's healthy, and, you know, Christian Wood, how good can they be? Let's see. And then if not, let's do something before the trade deadline. In mind, that's what they were thinking. And James just upset the apple cart, right? You ran Russell Westbrook out of town because apparently you didn't want him here. That was your dude, right? So why run him out of town if you don't want to be? I'm so over this dude, man. I've tried, you know, AJ, over the years, I've tried to get there with him, and I think, oh, he's growing up, he's maturing. He matured the most with Chris Paul. Chris Paul was better for him than he will ever admit. He's not an MVP that year without Chris Paul. He's just not. And so we've seen him revert back to some of this selfish, childlike behavior. That's not leadership. That's not how champions behave. So I don't know what they're going to do with him, AJ. I'm going to let you figure it out. They should let him come talk to you.
You know what? And this mic and chair and microphones are open, James, if you're listening, because I know you're listening to my show. By the way, I want a honey bun, too. Get me a bag.
Not just a bag, a Prada bag.
Prada bag.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. But,
you can have the 100 buns. Give me the 100,000. But go ahead.
Well, that's what they call a honey bun. I want that.
I just found that out. I kind of Googled it. I didn't get it. I was like, what is this?
I got young sons. But so I am saying that I'm about 85. I was at 80. I went up to about 83. I'm at 85% sure that by March 25th, James Harden will be in a different uniform. And I believe that.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah. Okay.
He will be in a different uniform. I just wish he would help them get something out of it, right? I mean, this, and then you running around the country with no mask on, breaking all kind of NBA protocol, because they have rules.
Right.
Players are not supposed to go to clubs, live concerts. There's a number of things you're not supposed to do, and you basically saying, to hell with all of y'all, I'm going to do what I want.
Right. Real quick, just got breaking news that Ohio State and Michigan is canceled, which means Ohio State could be ineligible they are ineligible for the Big Ten title, but is still eligible to be in the college football playoffs. That don't make no sense, but I digress.
Oh, you know what happened? Hold on. I know what happened. When I went to my phone, let me disconnect this. It picked up my hang on.
No problem. We got Kim Y. Davis, host of Chalk Talk Sports, joining us here, founder of Chalk Talk Sports, joining us here on the lunch break. In fact, Kim, stay right there. We're going to take a quick break. This segment is brought to you by the Care Team. And for those who don't know, if you don't have insurance, if you don't have medical insurance,
that is something odd.
You can call the Care Team at 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377, or go to careteamcares.com. We'll be back with more Kim Y. Davis right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Again, I say unto you,
I
if
can.
two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything, it shall be done for them by my Father who is in heaven. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Matthew 18, 19, and 20. That's the gospel. And we're KYOK, 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Now is a great time to replace your worn-out windows during the Renewal by Andersen 25-year savings event. Upgrade your home today. Buy 4 windows and get the 5th one free. Plus get 12 months. There's no money down and no payment.
Okay.
Call now. Get 4 windows and get the 5th one free. Installation and warranty included.
Wow.
Renewal by Andersen takes every CDC recommended safety precaution to protect your family. For 25
Oh, really?
years, trusted us for their window replacement needs, and you can too. Call now to learn about our buy 4, get the 5th one free window replacement offer.
800-330-1685.
Yeah.
800-330-1685. 800-330-1685. That's 800-330-1685. Interest accrues from date of purchase, but is waived if paid in full within 12 months. Other conditions apply. We've adjusted our operations to serve you safely following all CDC guidelines. Visit renewalbyandersen.com for details.
Hello, my name is Margaret.
So there's something that happens when I go to my phone. It cut me off. So I turned my phone off when I went to look, and I'm like, I don't know, because I have my AirPods on, so it's over Bluetooth. And then I have this Yeti mic. Okay. So I don't know why I got to figure that out.
You sound crystal clear, though. I love you. Your sound has been the best on this show.
Because I'm using the Yeti mic.
Yeah. You and Chris Gardner have real good sound. Love y'all sound.
Cool.
That should qualify for plans starting at $0 to $50 per month.
This
Care
is
Team has helped
Jingle
thousands of people just like you. This is AJ Jones, and KYOK listeners, I want you to call now and see what you qualify for at 281-990.
Hey, I went to the sauce company place.
What'd you think?
It was good, but they didn't have the mushrooms or the chicken. It's at the one over on Wayside, so I haven't been there yet.
Okay. Yeah, I know they have different menus sometimes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a burger that's like the Big Mac with Beyond Meat. And it's at the other one, not the one in Third Ward. So
with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now,
which does me no good.
We'll give you a chance to win
Right.
a certificate from Butterball. That's right. You can
I'm waiting for an impossible turkey so I can have turkey for Thanksgiving again.
You've heard of Tofurkey, haven't you?
No.
Yeah, I'm not.
Stay away from it.
Yeah.
Stand by, Kim.
AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
You're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right. Appreciate my friend El Michelle for those hot drops. Kim, I got the hottest drops in the sports business, man. I got the hottest drops. I ain't trying to brag about it. I'm not trying to, put nobody else down, but my drops are fire. My drops are
You got that. I'm gonna see if I can get you to help me get some. Maybe not as hot as yours, but
I got the connection. I got
All
it.
right.
Wow. I mean, she's solid. She's fast. She's professional. She's the one. She is the one. Kim Y. Davis, y'all, joining us here on the lunch break. We got more breaking news that came while we were off air. University of Houston, one of the top teams in the country basketball-wise, is pausing all basketball operations due to contact tracing with COVID-19. So this COVID thing is real. It don't care if it's football, basketball, baseball. You know, again, the folks that got it right were the folks that were in the bubble. Hockey was in the bubble, NBA playoffs in the bubble, and didn't some of the soccer teams, didn't they?
Some of the soccer teams, yeah. And then when they got when baseball got to postseason, they were in somewhat of a bubble-like situation, bubble-esque.
They let him run down there on the field and take pictures next to a coach who's a cancer. So baseball, they ain't there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me about this tofu turkey or tofurkey.
So there's something called tofurkey. I haven't had tofurkey. I'm just not interested. I just think there's some things you have to say I can't have anymore. Right. If you're not gonna have it, like I did for my family, I did cook a turkey on Thanksgiving. It was a organic pasture raised turkey, and it was really good. But I am headed back to after our conversation with you. I'm like, let me to take poultry out of my diet again, or at least really limit it. For me, it was about good protein sources. So, and you just can't have fish every day.
Right.
And I don't want a lot of things that are processed. Right. There's this processed fake meat. I don't want to eat that. So, but mostly still plant-based. The closer you can get to having plants, the more of those you can have, the better. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try my hand at the jackfruit fried chicken. I'm gonna see what I come up with. I'm gonna try to make it. I mean, because I was going to buy some, and the truck is across town. So I'm like, well, I just got to make it. It can't be hard to make.
I'm going to send you a video. One of the prominent chefs goes through a very detailed on how to make it, and he makes the drumsticks and the breast, and he also makes the
little flat wings.
Yeah. So
have you made it yet?
I have not made it yet, but I'm kind of stuck on the place where I found them. So
okay.
I get them with sauce. Sometimes I get them without sauce. So I enjoy doing that. But for those who don't know, Kim Davis is one of the primary reasons why back in September 2019, I made the decision to go pescatarian and not carnivore, because I was eating everything that somebody had to run out there and kill. And I've been off of it since, and I have felt a lot better. I've had some health, improvements and what have you. So Kim, you and I had talked.
Good for you.
You were on me, and
you were like, man, I gotta have my beef and my ribs, and I was like, okay. And then he came to it on his own, which is how it should happen, right?
Yeah. I did it.
I'm so proud of you, yay! And you said you feel better, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Issues that I used to have, I don't have either at all or as much or frequently as I used to. So I'm grateful for that.
All right.
And again, I've got to be careful of processed stuff, even though it's not meat-based. So
right, it's some unhealthy vegans, and not that you're totally vegan, because I do fish too. I made some salmon yesterday, but there are it's about the healthy stuff, whole real food, whole stuff, and so I like the whole jackfruit stuff. I've done roast with it. I've made tacos with it. It just gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of what you can do. So.
Yeah, I've done sloppy joes. I had a friend that did it like pulled pork. So it's really good. It's really good. I've gotten a little sedity too. I've gotten. So I'll drive next in front of a restaurant or a fast food establishment that I used to frequent. It's like, I can't believe they're eating that. That's not.
I understand, right? I understand.
I still got points I haven't used. I'm like, I don't think they're eating that. That's not real food.
Right. They go there? Oh my.
Thou shalt not. But anyway, Kim Y. Davis joining me here on the lunch break. So glad to have her. Kim, Again, the Rockets are in a precarious situation, and there are a lot of other teams in the West that are getting better. When I look at what Dallas is doing, Dallas made the top 8 last year. But when I look at some of the other teams like Phoenix, when I look at some of the teams they're making in Sacramento, New Orleans, places like that, I'm thinking it might not be a given that the Rockets hit that top 8. Am I being overly critical or
not at all? I think you're being realistic. Everybody is making moves to get better. Even the Lakers didn't stand pat. The defending champions, they didn't stand pat. So I think you are absolutely right in your assessment. What could happen? I heard somebody put on Twitter a question maybe about a week ago. It was like, would you trade James Harden for what's the big kid that came out of college, Williamson?
Williamson, yeah.
I was like, absolutely not. His future's ahead of him.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no reason to trade him. I mean, he looked like he could be in. He's had 1 year, and it was a crazy year. Absolutely not. For James Harden, no, not going to do it.
New Orleans made a move like that. That says they never believed in Zion Williamson in the first place. And I know it's ready to cross sports, but it was like Arizona when they got Josh Rosen and realized they had a chance to get Kyler Murray. The writing was on the wall, bro. We like you, but we'll see you later. We're getting
right. We don't like you that much, right?
You're all right.
You're all right, but we're not. I think you're right. I think it's going to be a tough go for the Rockets in the West this year. You mentioned the Lakers. They still have the Clippers.
Right.
You look at Utah. What about Denver?
Right.
You already mentioned New Orleans and Sacramento and Phoenix. OKC could give them a run. I mean, there are teams. San Antonio. Yeah. Where does this team stack up, and do they make the playoffs? I don't know. They can't get the top player to just call them back. So,
well, let's do this. Let's move off the Rockets real quick and get on to the Texans. We haven't had a chance to talk. How surprised were you about the Bill O'Brien firing? How surprised are you about what you've seen with them under Romeo Crennel, Anthony Weaver, and Tim Kelly?
So I was surprised about Bill O'Brien, only because why did y'all let him darn near burn the house down before you realized it was time to move on? The house was on fire, and although it didn't happen when he made the D-Hop trade, I think that's what got him fired. I mean, 0-5, yeah, but I really think you say 0-5, and then you're like, man. Yeah, that D-Hop move. I think it was like, I don't know, they were shocked initially. I don't know what happened, but I believe that played into it. Nobody told me that. I don't know the McNairs. I reached out to Cal. He never responded, So it's not like we real tight. I don't do brunch with his wife. But I feel like, I do feel like that played a part in it, right? The D-Hop move. Yeah. It said a lot, what it said is, if you really look at it, and I thought this from the beginning, because they could have, let's be clear, they could have paid D-Hop and they could have paid Deshaun, right? But the moves that they've made that have been personal, you paid all the money to Laramie Tunsil. He's really good, but is he the best in the league? I don't think he is. You could have paid Dwayne, who's still playing, and you could have had 2 draft picks. I mean, there's so many bad decisions that were personal. Right? That were personal. So I was a little surprised because I thought they should have done it sooner. And when they didn't, I just thought that they were just saying, oh, well. Because the Texans, financially, as an organization, does very well. They make good money. They're making money. Their brand is strong. It has been. So Are they really trying to win a championship? You can say it, but I don't know that that's as important because I haven't seen the things that make you think it. So, in terms of how they're doing under Romeo, let me just say this one thing. I wish that every time there's a broadcast and Romeo's on the sideline, they don't have to remind us how old he is. Why is that necessary?
It's not.
I mean, stop with the age discrimination, right? But, I think that they have some holes. I think they played a little better. I've heard somebody say secondhand that was the same thing as O'Brien is being there. Well, clearly it's not absolutely the same because they look different, right? To me, they look different. But you don't just change it all in a couple weeks. So I think, I was glad to hear what I heard recently that Cal McNair and Deshaun Watson had dinner, discussed the future, and get his input about coaching. And I'm told that Deshaun is a fan of Eric Bieniemy. I say fan, that's somebody that he feels like would be good for the team. But now I'm hearing that Eric Bieniemy is not that interested. I mean, he's, you can't really talk about it because they're all under contract, but looking more at a team like Atlanta. And I think it's because of the uncertainty about Jack Easterby. I have to try to call him Easter Bunny. That's just not appropriate. But took Jack Easterby and the fact that he's still here. And while they say he is not, Jamie has come out and said, Jamie Roos, that he will not be the general manager. What's he still doing there? When Detroit fired their coach last week, they fired the coach and the general manager.
Right.
Jack Easterby was a part of everything that Bill O'Brien did. And so with him still being, what you hold him, let him go. I don't know. So, I don't know what the future of this organization is, which way they'll go. I think that, they've looked a little better under Tim Kelly, and maybe that's more Deshaun's influence. He has a little more ability to have some input, I think. But I don't know how differently you would expect it to be in the middle of the season. So.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I thought Tim Kelly called one of his better games this past
Sunday. Yeah. I thought he did too.
That was creative. I see what you were trying to do there. That made sense. I mean, it was one of his better games. Now, the Cleveland game, him and Anthony Lynn both had their worst games.
Yeah. That wasn't their finest outing. But no, I think you're right. I thought there was some creativity, and it was they weren't as predictable in the game against the Colts, and to have it end the way it did on that snap. Like he was trying to throw it down the field the other way. But, if you go back and you look at the game, he had some not so great snaps throughout. None as bad as that.
Right.
But talk about just taking the wind out of your sails, right?
Yeah. Tough way to lose. Let me get a call in here real quick. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Well, AJ, this is Ferdinand. How are you and your guests doing today?
Doing well, Ferdinand.
Hey, Ferdinand.
Hey. Look, guys, I'm going to tell y'all something about age. And we're not going to talk about age no more. I have a guy that's in drag racing. His name is John Force, they say. He's 71 years old. He goes 300 miles per hour, 3 seconds. Does that have anything to do with age?
Doesn't have nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely. So, AJ, you know how I feel about Romeo.
Yeah, Ferdinand's on record. He wants Romeo to get a couple of years as the head coach and then let them move on from there.
And look, guys, since Romeo has taken him of what's going on, Texas is a different look team.
Oh, they look different. I mean, they absolutely look different. There's no, for people who say it's the same, I'm not in the locker room, but what I see looks different.
Absolutely. Romeo didn't lose the game on Sunday. Still going in a positive direction, AJ.
Yeah. Now, you've been saying that, Ferdinand, and I got to give you credit for it. They have definitely been going in a positive direction.
And watch this, AJ. What's your guest name again?
Kim Davis.
Kim Davis. I told AJ before the season started, now, the schedule that the Texans have him, I told AJ that the Texans will win 4 games. AJ thought I was crazy. But right now, they've won 4 games. And the only reason why they'll win more games, it would be only because of Romeo Cornell. What I really want them to do, guys, was to let Bill O'Brien finish the season out so he can be humiliated for the things that he's done to the Texans. And let him get off too easy, AJ. Fired him. He'll get his money.
He still listen. Let him go. Let him go. I mean, because at least, he was toxic. I'm sorry. He needed to go.
Both y'all stay right there. Let me hit the top of the hour. We'll be right back with Kim White Davis joining us on the lunch break, and of course, caller of the year 2017. Ferdinand, always a good call. We'll be right back with them both right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. I got Kim White Davis joining me today. She's the founder and host of Chalk Talk Sports. Been in this area doing this sports stuff for a little while now. And also got Ferdinand, caller of the year 2017, joining us. Ferdinand, you hilarious about that. You wanted him to be humiliated. You starting to sound like me, my brother.
Yeah, I mean, he really should, because he destroyed Texas team since he's been in there.
Well, I tell you what, he's somewhere wishing he hadn't right now. So, Ferdinand,
Maybe.
we appreciate you as always, man.
All right.
Thanks, Ferdinand.
All right, you have a good one.
All right, Ferdinand was the very first caller on this show 3 years ago, very first caller. And
Wow.
I started the show 1 month, maybe 3 months later, I got my first phone call, and it was Ferdinand, so I made him the caller of the year 2017.
That's a great, it's a great thing to do. Do you have one every year? A call of the year?
I sure do.
Oh,
We
okay.
made the call of the year 2020. See if I can do it. 2019 is Donna Coleman Holman. 2018 is Lester. You know Lester, the greatest. He's been calling
Yeah.
the longest. He was the caller of the year 2018, and then Ferdinand is 2017.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. So, Kim, where do you see them going? You've heard similar to what I've heard. I've heard that the agent of Eric Bieniemy is wanting to drive him somewhere else other than Houston. And I got to be honest, Atlanta is a little bit more attractive to Houston than to me, because you don't have salary cap issues, you don't have the highest payroll, you still have a very serviceable quarterback, you still have a very serviceable wide receiver with
Julio.
And then you've got some running game and you got some defense pieces, and they're gonna have a high
Right.
draft.
So they're going to have a high draft. So here's the thing, and I agree with you. The best thing about the Houston Texans is that they have Deshaun Watson. Most coaches are like, if I got a quarterback, give me a quarterback, I can make it happen. You got Deshaun Watson. He's your best selling card. But I think the holdup is who's going to be the general manager. Right? It's going to take somebody who's darn near a magician.
Right.
Because you don't have any picks, you don't have any cap room. You gave some contracts out last year that people might think are questionable. Nick Martin, I don't know how you feel about Whitty Merciless deal. Nick Martin, they made him the highest paid guy at his position last year when he was rated way down the list.
7th or 8th or something crazy.
Right. And so, you've got some things you've got to look at in terms of putting together a roster that can be competitive. And so, who is going to be the general manager? I'm sure that, Bieniemy's agent is like, listen, the reality is, as a black coach in the NFL, you don't get that long. So you've got to go someplace, and you're going to have to win sooner than a white coach coming into this exact same situation. That's just the reality of it. So you've got to look at it where's my best chance to go be successful? I can't just be glad to be in the room.
Right.
So I think that could be a hindrance. I think that the Texans need to come out and say, they've said that it won't be Jack Easterby, but he still works here. Is he going to still work here? Because the people are going to say it's like having Bill O'Brien in the room.
Right.
Who would you like to see them get for a general manager?
I'm on record. I want to go Garrett Jones. I wouldn't be mad at Alonzo Highsmith. Again, we talked about the former GM for the Giants that engineered 2 Super Bowls there. I think there's candidates out there, and I just don't think that these brothers get a fair shot.
They don't.
I'll even throw a dark horse at you. and you're gonna think I'm crazy for this. Who's the young lady that's the player rep for the NBA?
Michelle, her. I can't think of her last name. Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad. I mean, the lady has run.
Let's just stop it. She's a black woman.
But I'm just
this
saying,
the Houston Texans. They barely let us come cover the game. Stop it.
What I'm saying.
Oh, just wishing. Okay, on a wish list.
I saw Cal McNair's hostage video. Michelle Roberts. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hostage video. If you're serious,
he's not.
Person for the job, and these people have run major organizations.
He's not.
Cannot be the assistant GM everywhere he goes.
Yeah, so I'm a big and I covered Alonzo. I consider him a friend. I think he does good work. I mean, Alonzo will be at the top of my list. But here's some other names I'm gonna throw at you. Louis Riddick is a guy that I would be fine with. There's a guy in Buffalo. His name is Malik Boyd. He's a director, player personnel. He's from Houston. Spent most of his career with the Cardinals. He's somebody else. So, I think there's a lot of options. Let's don't recycle somebody like a Casserly or not him, but like him. Don't do that. I just don't see Cal McNair being that guy. I don't. I hope I'm wrong. I don't have any reason to believe that I am.
I'm just looking at my phone because I'm like, I want to pull up the hostage video. I want to pull it up. You said this, bro. What's wrong with it?
Well, so did, what's his name? Roger Goodell. Both of them said stuff. And let me say this to you. I've reached out to both of those gentlemen, letters, and said, hey, here's some things that I think are challenges. Here's my background. I want to be a part of the problem, part of the solution, not the problem. But they aren't even willing to hear from people that they should hear from. And I didn't just send an email. I sent them a letter with a box of popcorn because at least you're going to get something that somebody will see and say, let me open this. What is it? Right. And I never got a response from Roger Goodell or Cal McNair. And I know he got it just by some things I've had to deal with. So I know he got it. So they're not really serious about this work. They're not serious about it. They did that because they felt they had to, but to me it wasn't sincere. There's nothing I've seen that says that speaks to sincerity. When I walk in that press box, now that I can, I've been able to get in, there's no equity and diversity in there. Very little. You know that.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
So if they can't even do it there, you think they're going to put... Man, stop it. In a front office, a black woman, be that cutting edge? Not going to happen.
Does Becky Hammond get the Spurs job after Pop doesn't want it anymore?
I don't know. Maybe.
Should she?
I mean, is she good at what she does? I don't know. I mean, he said if she's good at her job, she should. But who else is on that staff? Is there somebody else that's been there longer than her? I mean, I don't think she's the most tenured assistant. But I think if there's going to be a female coach in the NBA, or the first one, I think Becky Hammond is the one. I think she would be the first one.
Gotcha. All right. Kim Y. Davis, Chalk Talk Sports, right here on the lunch break. I'm going to bring up one more topic, and then we'll wrap it up. Houston Astros, Dusty Baker. I told people I would fight him if they try to come for Dusty. Dusty did the best he could trying to clean up somebody else's mess.
Yeah, I'm a huge Dusty fan, and don't come for Dusty. And they want to talk about Dusty being, people. I hear the people. They got old coaches, an old manager at the Astros, an old coach for the Texans. First of all, here's the reality: you need those guys to come in and clean up somebody else's mess. Exactly. All right, and they've done it. You had no wins under Bill O'Brien, You're up to 4 under Romeo. Should have been 5 on Sunday. You could do a lot of that where they could have gotten wins. People want to, nitpick about calls he made, but like he said, if he makes that call, he's a genius. So, I think that Dusty in particular did a great job. And I hope that he has something to work with. I hate the thought of him not having George Springer, but I understand the money situation,
Yeah. Kim, give me one more break, and I want to point out something that just hit me. I don't know. I'm
okay.
But we'll be right back with Kim Y. Davis right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK segment brought to you by Butterball. We'll be right back.
AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for, and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Team Texas Tuesday, and we got the lady who knows all things about the teams here in Texas. It's Kim Y. Davis, Chalk Talk Sports. And Kim, so if the Rockets already have Steven Silas, the Astros already have Dusty Baker, if the Texans get Eric Bieniemy, all three major sports would be handled by black men.
Yes.
How long how's that going to go over?
Well, here's the thing. What we know is that the leash is shorter on black coaches. Right. You got to win sooner. And so it's unfortunate you step into, you're Steven Silas, and when you're talking about this job, you've got 2 former MVPs. Mm-hmm. And when you get here, one of them is traded and the other one won't call you back. Right. So, and you're like, wow, I went from, talk about a roller coaster ride, but like he has to come in and do what he does. And so be competitive.
Uh-oh, Kim, it muted on us. It's telling me you got on mute on your side. There you go. Nope, it didn't do it. What's uh-oh. Kim, come back to me.
And on my end, I've got to figure out what this.
Oh no, I got you now.
Okay.
All right.
So let me move my hand. I unplugged the mic, I believe, from my Yeti mic. But okay. I think that, how we'll go, what we know is that they won't get the same kind of consideration in terms of what they walked into as other coaches would. No one's going to be talking about it. The other media members are not going to give them any, room for they need some time to figure it out because of what they stepped into.
Right.
So I think that's what it'll be. It's what it always is.
Yeah. Kim attended A&M, graduated from A&M. how excited are you about A&M knocking on the door of possibly getting in the college football playoffs? Are you great with Jimbo Fisher and the direction he's got the team? How you feeling?
Yeah, and listen, they got there a little sooner than I thought they would. And then, but this year I think everything's kind of in this COVID year, everything's kind of up in the air, right? I don't know if you look at it quite the same,
I
but
don't.
I don't look at it the same. But I do think that you got to be pleased if you're an Aggie with what you're seeing from Jimbo and that team and the fact that they've been winning at the level that they have, and that they're winning in November, which has been something they hadn't done consistently in years. That was a knock on Kevin Sumlin. Can you win in November? And so, yeah, it's exciting to see, and it's about really what they do moving forward for me, because this year's it's kind of like wash.
Yeah, I'm like this. If you win the chip, yeah, you hold that bad boy up like you won it in a
Right.
regular season. But if you competed for the chip and didn't get it, it was a crazy year. That don't count. That compete for it
Absolutely.
next year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. If you win the chip, you hold it up with pride. If you don't,
Yeah.
you're like, listen, we were in the hunt. It was a crazy year, and we'll be back. So yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's exciting what's going on in College Station. It's just I don't know that people are quite as dialed in as usual just because of everything
Yeah.
else.
Gotcha. Kim, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you with all the great work that you do.
You are so kind. So you can follow me on Twitter at Kim Y. Davis, and my website is kimydavis.com. I do a live show every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube, and today on Periscope, I think. But I'm about to add another show during the week. I'm not sure what day that's going to be yet, but I'm going to add something additional because I get people saying, we'd like to hear from you more frequently. So I'm trying to work that out. But yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, I'll tell you what I'm doing. And if you forget that, just ask AJ. He'll tell you.
Absolutely. We got our website scrolling on the ticker right there. It's also in the body of the show. So Kim, thank you so much. We got to do this again sooner, and I really appreciate you making the time today.
We do, and you got to come on Chalk Talk, and you got to hold me accountable for doing my cooking during a show. I haven't done that. I got to figure it out. So I need you to I'm putting it out. So now it makes me become accountable for. I've talked about doing it, and so since I can't do sports bites in the studio, like how do I do it in my kitchen? So
Well, listen, you gave me an assignment. I got one job. I will do my job. Kim Y. Davis, y'all. Thanks, Kim. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Thanks. See you next time.
All right, y'all. Kim Y. Davis, great sports broadcast journalist, writer, creator. She's phenomenal. Follow her. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did. A good stuff on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. If you want to call in and talk about any of the things that she shared, please do. 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000 on the lunch break. I know Todd ain't come on here tripping. Todd said, until the Aggies beat Bama, I'm not impressed. They are better, but not elite, not even close. Todd, call me. Call 281-453-1000, Todd. Call. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
You called for me?
Yeah, I called for you. I like how quick you are.
Man, AJ, you need to stop.
Todd.
You and I both know LSU is down this year.
Todd.
Auburn is trash.
Todd.
Dog walked.
I got two letters for you. You ready?
Dog walked.
Are you ready?
Yes.
UT.
We beat A&M.
Oh, stop.
Hey.
Just stop.
Hey, we'll meet y'all at where U of H plays. Come on.
Todd, they're the number 5 team in the country. You're not.
Don't mean nothing. Who they beat? You already said it to me. You've already said it to me when UT wins.
Todd, they lost to Bama. Who'd y'all lose to?
Iowa State. That's what ranked 17th. I think maybe 12th now.
Keep going. Who else?
Oklahoma. That's in the Big 12 championship.
Mm-hmm. And who else?
TCU. And we would still beat A&M if we played.
Okay, Todd.
So here's what I'm going to say.
when Jimbo Fisher's run is over at A&M, this contract up is in 10 years. If he plays Alabama every year, we'll be 0-10. You pay $75 million for that?
Todd, he's got him up to the number 5 team in the country. When is the last time A&M has been number 5? And they got a legitimate shot to get in the top 4. I mean, there are a number of routes for them to get in the top 4. Where's UT? Where's UT? They in the top what?
AJ, you're putting back on UT like I'm saying they're great. I'm not.
I know you're not. I know you're not. But I'm just saying. I'm saying.
All I'm saying is we would dog walk them. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know if y'all would though.
We would. Let me ask you this: what trophy do you get for being ranked 5th in the country?
You get nothing. You get nothing. All I'm saying is, this is the first time that A&M has been this high and knocking on the door to something significant in a long time. I might not like the way they got there. I might not agree with who they beat versus the one team that they lost to, but they're there. I can't be mad. That's why I said, if they win it, hold that bad boy up like you beat everybody in the world. If they lose or don't get in, then you go back to the drawing board and do it again for it to count in my mind, but I'm going to give them credit for being there.
So here's how I see the Aggies. I watch them play every week. I record all their games, right? I think I can speak, somewhat confident what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're wrong, right? They can't control the schedule, right? They can't help LSU sucks this year. Right. They do. They're bad. They lost a whole bunch of guys.
Right.
They can't help. Auburn has a limited quarterback like I do. Right. It is what it is. It's not their fault.
Right.
They got a nice running game.
Yeah.
They got a really good offensive line.
Right.
2 good backs.
Defense is
got
legit.
a good defensive line.
Yep.
But they got a suspect quarterback. He's Kellen Mond.
Wait a minute now. I can't let you come for Kellen Mond. I can't let you come for the brother. I done got radical, man. I'm radicalized now. You got to leave everybody. You got to talk about everybody but the brother.
DJ, I hope A&M gets in the college playoff because that means I get another chance to see Nick Saban run a scrimmage against them like he does every single time.
Todd, I got to get ready to go. My special guest has joined me all the way from the DMV. But we're going to finish this conversation again real soon. And your caller of the year status for 2021 depends on it. It's on the line. It's on the line.
One last thing. How about the Giants? Is I ahead of the curve on that?
All I will say is you might have been right. Kelsey Nicole Nelson, host of Washington Unfiltered and Listen In with KNN. Todd Malcolm said that the Giants are headed in the right direction. I didn't agree with it, but then they went out and beat, of all teams, Seattle. So should I give him credit or no, Kelsey?
It's been interesting, but I think what we're seeing is that these NFC East teams are making us believe. We saw what the Giants did. We saw what the Washington football team did. So I think now all of those doubters and those naysayers are starting to have to go, all right, this team could do something. They could make some noise. And in the NFC East, we are looking at Washington and the Giants. And if you look at both of their schedules as we finish out this season, it's a what-if question. I love Washington's schedule to finish the season. Of course, they will play Seattle, so that's something we have to look at. But the Giants, it's crazy to say it. And you guys, I promise, I've only been drinking Canada Dry, not drinking anything. But you never know, right? It's a possibility that they could come out of the NFC East. So time will tell, but I will tell you, what a crazy year. I think this is 2020 kind of just continuing to deliver on 2020-ish stuff, because now we're talking about the Giants or the Washington football team winning this division.
That's so crazy. Kelsey, we'll take a quick break. I'm going to come back. We're going to dig into that. I'm glad you showed me what you were drinking.
Only Canada Dry, I promise.
It's so crazy. We'll be back with our special guest, Kelsey Nicole Nelson, host of Washington Unfiltered, and Listen In with KNN. Right after this, here's a word from our mayor, Sylvester Turner, on the lunch break.
Mr. Turner, we need to be mindful of everyone's health and safety when planning family gatherings. Make a plan and share it with your guests. Get tested at one of the many free testing sites within the city. Wear your mask, wash your hands frequently, and social distance, so you can enjoy your time together with peace of mind. Protecting our loved ones is the most important thing for all of us. Mask up, Houston. We're better together.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Two radio stations in one.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
The lunch break, where sports are the special of the day on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all. We got the hottest drops and we got the hottest takes right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I got my little sister, y'all, all the way from the DMV. It's Kelsey, Nicole, Nelson. Kelsey, how surprised were you after what you saw yesterday with, of all teams, Washington knocking off the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, so I wasn't surprised at all, AJ, for two reasons. One, because I joined Washington's team, and I like to think that I'm a good luck charm. So good things have been happening, right, AJ, since I joined. So I'm taking full credit.
Faker.
But on a serious note, I had said before the game, I said it was going to be a close game. I said whatever team wins, it's going to be a 3-point game. I was a little off, even though it got close to that. But what we saw from the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm a person that believes when somebody shows you what they are, believe them. Pittsburgh has been showing us what they are. They are undefeated, but there was a lot of games you were like, what if you were doing this head scratching? Like, I just don't know. And especially that Baltimore Ravens game, I think was so telling. Baltimore's without a lot of stars, and Pittsburgh struggled. If you take away RG3's mistakes that game, the fumble and the interception, that's a game that Baltimore, a battered up Baltimore, a COVID-19 infected Baltimore, a Lamar Jackson without team, a RG3 more washed team, could have won. And so I think when they struggle from that game, you look at the short week that they had coming into this game. If there was a game for them to lose, it was this Washington game. Remember, Washington's coming off a huge win against their arch rival, the Dallas Cowboys, on Thanksgiving. It's a young team, and lo and behold, they have Coach Ron Rivera, who, if anybody is going to make you believe, is going to be that head coach. I wasn't as surprised. I knew it would be harder. I think what's more shocking, AJ, is that they did it without Antonio Gibson. Of course, he got hurt in that game. That's what we've been saying a lot in Washington. Terry McLaurin, I mean, the guy who's getting Ocho Cinco to give $963 tips, without him having a big game. So you look at how they did it. Talk about a team effort. I thought it was so beautiful to see. And I think Pittsburgh got exposed. And I think all those other teams on Pittsburgh's schedule are no longer looking at Pittsburgh as afraid. They're going in with confidence because now Pittsburgh has saw what it is to lose. But I will say I am glad Pittsburgh lost now instead of in the postseason, because I think about that Ravens team last year that went to the postseason, AJ, and lost to the Titans after having that bye. And you just don't want that, for a team like Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. Kelsey Nicole Nelson joining us here, host of Washington Unfiltered, also does Listen In with KNN. So glad to have her today. Could yesterday have been kind of a trap game because of the short schedule and knowing that they've got Buffalo coming at? Could they maybe have little bit overlooked, maybe not Tomlin, but some of the players overlooked Washington, like the big game is the week after that, 6 days away?
You could look at that, right? At first when you saw this Washington team, maybe not as many teams were scared. If anything, the scariest part of this Washington team for many has been that defensive front, that has continued to come in and out. But you also look at it in Mike Tomlin's comments after that Ravens game, talking about we sucked.
Right.
We won, but it was ugly, right? So I hear that, but then I also think about that was supposed to be a motivation for the team, something to push and propel them. And also, let's be honest, they wanted that undefeated season. I mean, of course, this was just a game, but that would have been huge for this Pittsburgh franchise because they came into the season as underdogs, right? Like, nobody was talking about Pittsburgh winning this division. It was all about the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP, and it's going to be, Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar, and lo and behold, Patrick is Patrick, but Lamar has had his struggles this season. Not just Lamar, but the overall Baltimore Ravens franchise, especially that offense. So I say all that to say I I think they could have overlooked this game. I think I am more worried about that Buffalo game because Buffalo is a very talented team. And I'm sure Buffalo, after seeing this game, is not as worried about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you have to look at it. The Cleveland Browns are looking kind of good, looking kind of hot. So the games for Pittsburgh do matter. So I have to say they couldn't overlook this game because they know how close of a race this might end up to be.
Absolutely. You've talked a little bit about Baltimore. Tell me what else you're seeing with that. I've been a little disappointed with Lamar on some of his comments, but he's young. I'm not going to crucify him. To me, he's still Lamar. He doesn't have to prove anything to me, whether his game translates in the NFL. And oh yeah, by the way, every now and then, defensive coordinators catch up to your style of play. So it's almost like Greg Roman's got to, evolve and expand his game so that Lamar and the guys can be great. But what are you seeing being in that area?
Yeah, I think you touched on so many great things, but this Baltimore Ravens offense, what made them work last year is that they could do so many different things coming at you. And this year, it's very simple, simplicity. Nothing wrong with simplicity, but wait, you're playing in the National Football League. You got the rated MVP. Teams were mad about how many people were on the wrong side of Lamar Jackson's mixtapes last season. Exactly. Teams coming with a vengeance. And you're right, Greg Roman, I mean, he has work to do. Even the defense, Wink, he has work to do. I mean, I think the Baltimore defense has proven themselves better now, especially after that last game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, because that's a game that could have crazily, got out of hand if that defense didn't step up. But I think what we're seeing from Baltimore, and it was so great to see for one last week, Hollywood Brown get back into action. Trace McSorley, of all people, like people call it for Trace. People like, forget RG3 as the backup. We won Trace. Trace has a huge following now in this area after that game. I think many are saying, though, they're super excited about Lamar coming back, but there are a lot of questions. And quite frankly, Lamar is now getting the treatment that I saw Joe Flacco get after the Ravens Super Bowl win. And Joe Flacco was questionable. Because let's be honest, till this day, we are still asking in Baltimore and probably around the country, is Joe Flacco elite? I mean, it's still a question. And even after that Ravens win, many do what you do, AJ, right now. I think people love Lamar, but they're wanting him to do more and do better. And I think everyone knows Lamar's work ethic. It's not a question of it. One of his quotes that he says often, it's on his T-shirts, is nobody cares, work harder. It's actually something that I have on my computer desktop because that then propels me. But we need to see the action on the football field. And then I think we also need to see him just get more active with his offense. Like Mark Andrews, who was highly underrated, to me, the best tight end in football. Again, I'm a big fan of Travis Kelsey, but Mark Andrews, look at his numbers. This man, take him off that Ravens offense, and those numbers are scary. I mean, he delivers each and every game. And so you look at the wide receivers, though, they need to get Brown back into the game. They need to get Snead back into the game. I mean, the Ravens receivers have had to show up. We need to help Lamar. It's not just Lamar. And we've seen also, Lamar's runs, he can still run the ball, but he's not getting those crazy runs like he did before, where we're all just like in shock and awe. So again, he's had to change his game. They're making him throw more. He is a thrower. I mean, I think he's getting more comfortable, but he can throw the ball. But you want to make him make smart decisions because he's also had a good amount of interceptions this season, AJ. And I'm just like, that wasn't the Lamar I saw last year. He's doing stuff under pressure, under duress. It's getting to him, and he's making these throws that he just doesn't need to make.
Yeah, we got Kelsey, Nicole, Nelson joining us here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Let's jump over to a whole nother sport. You guys sent us one of your favorite sons in John Wall.
Yes.
You got back a player. I'm not one of the Houston locals that thought Russell Westbrook was the problem. Tell me twofold. What is Houston getting in John Wall, and how do y'all feel about getting Russell Westbrook?
Oh my gosh, so this is something I'm still getting used to. I'm seeing John in the Houston jersey, and it's still settling in. Because you have to remember, I've lived in the DMV for most of my entire life. I remember John's first game in Washington. I remember the iconic Dougie that he brought out that brought DC fans to their feet and saying, we love this guy. We love John Wall. So we're still like, basking. And also, John Wall has done so much for the community. I'm big on community efforts and giving back. And since I've lived in the DMV, John Wall is at the top of my list in terms of athletes that give back to the community, especially in underprivileged areas in DC, which includes, if you know the DC area, Ward 8, Southeast DC. John Wall is there. He's giving back. He's doing good. Just a good person. So I'll tell you, John Wall is something that we had been waiting for 2 years to see John Wall return to the court, right? The injuries, we're excited for him to get back with Bradley Beal and do things. And then this trade happened. So I think what Houston is getting is a guy that's motivated and talented. I think, we've seen those workout videos of him this offseason, and we've seen some vintage John Wall in those. Not saying he'll get exactly back, but something that John Wall has continued to work on, AJ, is his shot, right? And I think he's going to become a more offensive scorer that makes that offense more scary in Houston. And I think especially that 3-ball, and that's something else he's had to work on, right? Because that's, wasn't a big strength of his. Right. It's no secret. I'm not, divulging anything, but we've seen the commitment. And then, of course, you do want to see if he's able to still do what his signature moves, which, of course, is getting to the basket. Like, that's John Wall's game. That's what we're going to see if he's properly healed, right, from these injuries. And I think you just get a guy that wants the best. He wants the best. Think about it. He's been in DC so long. We haven't got him to the level that he's wanted to get to. So I think that's going to push him and propel him to hopefully do this with this Houston team. I know y'all got some trouble in Houston keeping track of our guy Harden. So hopefully, time will tell what happens with that situation. But, I do think it's a good area for John to be in to continue to develop his game. And honestly, we talk about Alex Smith here in Washington on the football side. I want John Wall to be that comeback player. Like, there's so many high expectations. I think we've known he's good in Washington, but I don't think even he's gotten to the level that he wants to get to in his basketball career. So I think it'll be very interesting to see what Houston does with him. But again, a very talented player. And what we get in Russell Westbrook, I think, is interesting. I want to see how he meshes with Bradley Beal, because I think that was a long question we had with John and Bradley Beal, because Bradley Beal is one of the best scorers in the NBA. I got the recognition and talent for it. But Russell Westbrook, I think he brings that intensity. You have to remember, this is a young Washington Wizards team. Russell Westbrook is going to push you to work. And I love that mentality. I think reuniting with Scott Brooks, and I think, again, I think he's going to push the coaching staff. He's going to push the players. And then I think in Russell Westbrook, many are saying it's more the same. You have a sure scorer in Russell Westbrook, right? And you've seen some of his struggles, but I think also he's going to have to continue to develop that shot, because we also know his game. But I do like what we're getting in terms of intensity-wise. I still do think Washington's going to have a player step up to be that kind of third key player. We saw Davis Bertans, getting that contract deal, and then Rui is another one we want to grow in Washington. Our guy, Denny, that got drafted, we want to see what he can do. So there's still questions about that third piece, but I will say everyone is super excited for Russell Westbrook. The Russell Westbrook stands. Like, we're embracing him, but we're still hurt, I will say, from John. The Washington Post put a full-page ad, and John Wall commemorating him. I know there's like murals going across the city, paintings and stuff. People, really showing that they love, because John Wall was with us for a decade. Like, you have to remember, in DC, after Gilbert Arenas and the whole Gilbert Arenas saga and how that ended, we were kind of hurt. We were heartbroken, right? So John came and kind of helped to fill that void. And so I think DC is one where we love you as if you're our own child. Like, you're our baby. That's our brother. Like, that's how we embrace. And I've seen that already with Russell Westbrook. But again, only time will tell how him and Bradley will work out, because I think there is going to be a leadership pull and struggle with those two, because Bradley's probably thinking, wow, well, finally now it's my team. But then lo and behold, you get Russell Westbrook in, and Russ has been a proven leader, right? His entire career, despite his MVP numbers and everything else he's done. So it'll be interesting. But I think reuniting with Scott Brooks will be a positive for him. And let's be honest, Washington can only go up. I still remember that show in the bubble. So I think there's promise, AJ.
We got Kelsey Nicole Nelson joining us from Washington Unfiltered, also from Listen In with KNN. And I got to tell you, Russell Westbrook going to a place where he can be on the ball, do what it is he does well. I expect him to average a triple-double again. And I expect, listen to this, him to help make Bradley Beal even better. And I agree with you. Bradley Beal is one of the best scorers in the league. And he doesn't get enough attention, probably because he's on the East Coast.
Because he's in Washington.
He's on the West. So I think you guys
triple-double numbers from him, too.
Yeah. I'm excited for you. Now, what do you think about John Wall reconnecting with Boogie Cousins?
Boogie, I think it's great. Look, they've been planning this for a while. Look, there was a time in DC where we were like, bring Boogie into DC, make John happy. And I'm excited. I think, obviously they know each other from their college days. They're still good friends to this day. And then when you play with your friend, it really becomes fun, and it becomes love in basketball in a sense. I think those two together have so much to prove because of them coming off of the injuries. I think it's going to be something exciting and fun that will hopefully work out. I know it's an experiment, but again, they've been calling for it. So when you call for something, you better show up when it happens. And I think the pressure is on them to succeed.
Funny, something you just said, Kelsey, we haven't seen here in Houston in a while, is fun. Just guys having fun and really wanting to play with each other. Because it wasn't there with Harden and Dwight Howard. It wasn't there with Harden and Chris Paul. We thought it was going to be there with, they call them the Beard and the Brody, and there was, inner conflict there. So maybe we needed to get rid of these guys to see a John Wall, a Boogie Cousins, and some of the other young guys be able to just have some fun again.
Yeah, I think that's what makes basketball fun. And I think when the Warriors were winning, that's why it worked. You think about the Splash Brothers at their prime, right? Like, they were having fun playing basketball, killing everybody else. Like, I think because that's when you can be your best self, right? Because we saw, like you talk about, when we try to make it work, you think about the relationship of KD and Russ towards the end. Or, when you're having fun, we think about maybe the promise of KD and Kyrie, right? It's when I think you're having fun playing basketball that sometimes the greatness can come. Even here in Washington, when John Wall and Brad were good, they were good, but when there was that tension, there was that tension. And so I think, seeing that they've been calling for it, I think you guys might be onto something in Houston. Again, I think John and Boogie have a lot to prove. I'm saying their bar is set high, but I think they know that. Yep. And their future depends on it. And look, John didn't come for cheap. Like, that contract and then the draft pick. I think he knows it's on. I think John, there is some hurt there. He was shocked and surprised from it. And usually when that happens, that's going to propel you to have that fuel and that fire to prove everyone wrong, the doubters and the naysayers wrong, because John Wall is still young and still has a lot of basketball left in him. So I think it's going to be good. I'm a little jealous. I'll be watching more Houston games, AJ.
Well, it just means when everything opens up, you got to come to a couple of the games.
Yes.
We'll take another quick break. We'll come back, and I want to switch to another subject if we can.
Yeah, of course.
All right, we'll be right back with my little sister, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. She's with Washington Unfiltered and with Listen In, KNN. We'll be right back with her right after this on the lunch break.
The coronavirus is ravaging our community. Make sure you have health insurance. Let Care Team Insurance assist you with our free medical enrollment assistance program. Call now and see what you qualify for at 281-990-1377. There are over 13 million people without insurance that should qualify for plans starting at $0 to only $50 per month. Care Team has helped thousands of people just like you by providing free enrollment assistance. Don't be taken advantage of by people selling bad or fake insurance. Make sure you have health insurance. Let Care Team Insurance assist you. This is AJ Jones, and KYOK listeners, I want you to call now and see what you qualify for. Plans starting at $0 to only $50 per month at 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377. Or visit careteamcares.com. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for, and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate for a Butterball. That's right. You can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3.
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
You're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. This segment brought to you by the Care Team. If you don't have medical insurance, you know you need it. All you got to do is give them a call, 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377. Or go to careteamcares.com. They can turn you on to some premiums as low as $0 to $50 a month. That's right. You don't have to be like me, one of the millions without health insurance. You can call Care Team Cares and get rolling today. All right, let me come back to my little sister, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. David sends his love. He was with me yesterday. I want to go a little serious with you if you don't mind. A young lady by the name of Kelsey Trainer talked about loving Breonna Stewart, but to name a white woman as Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year as an athlete activist after all the work Black women of the WNBA did was just not getting it right still.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, because I think you could probably figure mine out, but tell me what you think.
Yeah, another case of Black women being undervalued, which unfortunately is nothing new, not in just sports, but in society. And I think we look at just the tremendous year the WNBA had. We all saw their showing in the bubble, but even before we got to the bubble, we think about the louder voices for the WNBA, which have largely been Black women. If you look at the WNBA, much like the NBA, predominantly African-American, right? Like these are both leagues that are led for us by us, essentially, right? Like that FUBU mentality. And I say all that to say, I mean, you think about Natasha Cloud, right? A Black woman, biracial woman, but a Black woman. You think about Renee Montgomery, a Black woman, tying with the sport of the WNBA. I mean, you can Maya Moore. I mean, that story. And then even if you go into the smaller niches, so many women have spoken out in terms of trying to get social justice in this country for people of color. And so I think when you look at Sports Illustrated saying, in terms of activism and naming people, this is not to say that Brianna Stewart hasn't done anything. I think she has done great work. She's a talented player. And if they're looking at both her stats as a basketball player on the court, phenomenal. Again, I think she's a phenomenal individual. She also stood with her WNBA sisters during this time period, in harmony. But I think to overlook those names I said, it kind of just brings us back to Black women can do so many different things and for some reason still not be recognized on the level that they deserve to be. And it's hurtful. I think that's why you saw that piece that Kelsey Trainer wrote, because it's just like, well, I mean, they were right in your faces. Like, this isn't, how did you overlook this? It's mind-boggling. And one thing I love about the WNBA community, especially in this cancel culture we have now, is we're going to call you out. We're going to make you answer those tough questions, right? You don't just get to do something and be unanswered for it. I think that's what we're seeing. And so I think, Brianna Stewart is a great player, but looking at it in terms of activism, I mean, Natasha Cloud, Renee Montgomery, Maya Moore literally said, you know what, my career is great, but this is a greater calling and this is a greater issue. So what? I'm going to put this on pause. That's huge. How many people, are in the space to do that?
Right. We often say as athletes that, they're only going to go so far. They're not going to miss those paychecks. Maya Moore walked away from it all and dug in and got the wrongly convicted person, who's now her husband, overturned. But, let's not mistake, the work that she had to do that. And then I look at, like you said, folks from the WNBA community, Maya, Angel, Legendary. I mean, and she even go on to say they could basically make a kick butt troop instead of just one person. They could have literally honored the entire WNBA as opposed to making it about one person. And again, you don't have to be Black to be a part of the cause, but to be the face of the cause. I mean,
right. Like you said, that would have been better to put them all into a grouping, a togetherness, a sisterhood, which is, again, what we've seen from the WNBA. I mean, I've been so impressed by this league, by how together that they are. They get it. They get it. Of course, we have an owner that doesn't get it, but for the most part, everyone in that circle gets it. And it's been promising to see. But then, when this happens, it kind of is like, well, all that work that they did, did it go unnoticed? How did no one see the people of color, of melanin, get overlooked? So I'm glad that she called it out. I saw the writer's response back to, trying to defend it, but I still do think that this is something that if they could go back in time or do it right now, right? Because there's always time to do something right, do something where you fix this. I do think it's important because, again, women are tired of being overlooked, and especially Black women are being tired of being overlooked.
Absolutely. Kelsey Nicole Nelson from Washington Undisputed and listening with KNN, you're never overlooked here. So, Kelsey, tell us what you're working on, what you got coming up, what you're doing on your amazing show.
Yeah, thanks so much. It seems like so much. I'm excited for listening with KNN. My live stream will be back with Jarrett Payton. He will be joining me. We'll be talking all the latest and greatest in sports and the nonprofit world and giving back. So excited to have him on my live stream show this week on my podcast version of my show. I'm excited. I'll be joined by Glenn Consor. If you know Wizards fans, he's part of the DC radio party. He has covered the Washington Wizards for a long time. We're going to be talking this Russell Westbrook coming to DC and John Wall trade and lots more. And then for the Washington football team, I'm excited. So the show The Fit, I'm excited. I'll have Cam Sims, who just had a great game. He'll be joining me on The Fit this week to talk the latest in fashion. And then on the life, we're going to dig into the life of Kendall Fuller, a local guy from Baltimore, again on the Washington football team, and learn about what motivates him. So lots of great stuff. And then hopefully everyone can tune into me if they're in this area on Saturday at 9:30 a.m. on NBC Sports Washington, when I just get to recap all of the great content coming from the Washington football team. So busy to say the least, but a good busy.
I'm so excited for you. What was it like when the Washington football team called you and said, hey, we'd love to have you come and do this for the organization?
Yeah, I will tell you, it's a dream come true. Being from the area and being told by so many people, you can't make it in this area. It's too big of a city, and, you don't look like your typical mold of sports media here. To get that call was kind of life coming full circle, getting a chance to grow up going to those games to now be working for the team. It's crazy. Like, I'm still pinching myself. I'm still getting, so many congrats from people in the area, but it just shows when you have your mind bent on something and you work hard for it, great things can happen. And I'm just thankful for one, that the team gave me a chance and opportunity, and then two, the fans have been incredible and amazing, and I'm just glad they have welcomed me in with warm hearts, loving hearts, and embracing the work that I do. And I'll say it's been great to also join a team that gives me a lot of creativity in the work I do, and I can just be me and bring my best self to work every day, AJ. So it's still surreal sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I am working for the Washington football team, but it's a great feeling.
I can only imagine. Something just hit me before we go. I mean, you're a young lady, 20s, and
youngish.
And there are a lot of young ladies your age and maybe even a little bit older that feel like they don't have it figured out. They've got a dream, they've got a passion, but maybe they have children, or maybe they got off track a little bit. What would you say to them about, pushing through to your passion, hanging in there until you get that call?
Yeah, perseverance and resilience, are two things that are near and dear to my heart. Karan Butler, when I was younger, I won his Karan Butler's 3 Ds to succeed: dedication, determination, and discipline. Those literally are the three things that have gotten me here to this day. You need to be dedicated to your craft. You need to be disciplined, which means, making sure that you're putting quality work out there, making sure you're putting hours in to own your craft. Make your hobby your career. I worked a full-time job and was doing sports reporting, AJ. Like, it was a lot, but I put a lot of work and time into it. And mind you, I sacrificed sleep, I sacrificed outings and things like that. But I knew my goal, and I knew what I wanted to get to. And I knew, because of who I was and coming from, a different background, that I would have to work twice as hard, which meant I had to put twice as much work into it. So I think just having a goal set, but finding different ways to get there is truly what has gotten me to this point. I've gotten a lot of no's, but that just means, all right, so that road, was a roadblock. Well, let me try another road, or let me try another way, So if you can't, it's kind of like if you need to do something, you just got to get it done. And I think, keep at it, keep networking and being persistent, and just keep content out there. That's a great thing about social media now. You don't need a network to necessarily put it out there. I was putting my own work out there, with my name. So I'd say just keep believing, keep dreaming, but keep putting your name out there, and you'll never know when your name is being spoken in places that you didn't even know about. So that would be like my message. And it's something I live by still to this day. I'm still not where I want to be even, so I'm still doing that same thing. And hopefully more to come.
Kelsey, I appreciate you. I think you really helped a lot of people with that right there.
I hope so.
And it'll be recorded, so some folks can go back and listen to it later. But Kelsey, I really appreciate you. Thank you for being my little sister. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for coming when I need you, because you were right on time today.
Thank you so much for having me, AJ. Best wishes. This was so much fun. And take care of our guy, John Wall, in Houston, all right?
You already know we will. In fact, I was on that first conference call. So, yeah, we got you. Okay?
I love it. Thank you so much, AJ. Have a great one. Good night, everybody.
All right, y'all. Kelsey Nicole Nelson, always a pleasure having her on the show. Doing a lot of great work with the Washington football team. She is official member of the organization, Washington Unfiltered, The Fit, a number of different things that she's doing and still doing. Listen in with KNN. So I want y'all to, especially if you got young ladies in your family that are aspiring to do things that maybe you didn't even do yourself. That is a phenomenal young lady to reach out to. If you got a women's organization, young girls group, what have you, even if you got young men who need to better understand how to interact with young ladies, that's a good young lady to get involved in what it is you're trying to do. So I'm so blessed to have her today. Again, a lot going on in the world of sports. Still no show on James Harden. Let me check my ticker and see if maybe Harden came in while I was out and about. Nope, doesn't look like it. In fact, all we got new is that Harden expands his list of potential trade partners. He wanted to go to Philly. He wanted to go to Brooklyn, and trying to see if they listed the teams that Harden is interested in going to. Yeah, they don't have the exact list out, but apparently Harden just really wants out. And for Steven Silas, John Wall, as we just got done talking about, Boogie Cousins, and the guys, listen, play ball. Just play ball. You know, my mom always told me, don't chase after people that don't want to be in company with you. And maybe it's nothing personal. Maybe it's just his business and how he's going about it. But play ball. Play ball. After James Harden is gone, you still got this shot here in Houston. If James Harden stays, you still got this shot in Houston. But I'm going to rock with whoever is in a Houston Rocket uniform. I'm rocking with John Wall. I'm rocking with Boogie Cousins. I'm rocking with PJ Tucker. I'm rocking with Daniel House. I'm rocking with those guys. I'll rock with James Harden if he comes back. But if he doesn't, hey, good luck to him. But we gotta go on. These guys are not leftovers. These are the guys that are fighting to get it done. So I'm rocking with them. Of course, again, Pittsburgh had their undefeated season come to an end with a 23-17 loss to Washington. Buffalo beat San Francisco 34-24. Dallas and Baltimore tonight, 7:05 live on Fox. Texans will be in Chicago Sunday at noon. New Orleans will be in Philadelphia Sunday at 3:25, looking for their 10th win in a row. Preseason basketball, Rockets will be in Chicago Friday at 7. Spurs will host Oklahoma City Saturday at 6. And the Mavericks will be at Milwaukee Saturday at 7. Ohio State, Michigan canceled. We'll see if Ohio State still gets into the college football playoff. Ohio State will be unable to compete for the Big Ten championship, which Michigan, you're going to pay for that. I'm not threatening you. I'm just telling you, Ohio State is going to beat y'all like y'all stole something the next time y'all get a chance to play. That's just the truth. The sports update has been brought to you by the Care Team, careteamcares.com, or 281-990-1377, 281-990-1377 if you need health insurance. All right, let me get out of here. Sybil Wilkes up next with a COVID-19 update. After that, Donnie McClurkin and the Donnie McClurkin Show, giving you the best in gospel music, the latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. I'll be back tomorrow. Lord say the same. Winning Wednesday, David Grubb will be back with me, and I will give you the updated list on the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Challenge. There are a lot of people competing for that $600. So, as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it except wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize everything around you, be sensitive to everybody around you, and give folks 6 feet, all right? And when you see that racism and foolishness, kill it, not the person, but the racism and foolishness. Kim Y. Davis, Chalk Talk Sports, thank you. Kelsey, Nicole, Nelson, Unfiltered, Washington, Unfiltered, and all that, thank you. And to the Lunch Break crew, thank you too. All right, y'all, we'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be blessed.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said they...
All right, y'all. I hope y'all have a blessed rest of your day. I will definitely be talking to y'all tomorrow. Lord say the same. And thank y'all for loving all my guests. My friends got special guests tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. So it's going to be a great week. All right. Y'all, not this, definitely this. I love y'all. Y'all be blessed, okay? All right.